How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is RuffledRowlit, and we got Pokemon news, leaks, and everything in between. Let's get started. First things first, Cerebi posted this tweet saying that Cerebi preview, we have played over an hour of the coming Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC, the Indigo Disc, and what we experienced within surprised us a bit. Now, if you guys want to go and check out that video by Cerebi, it's on their YouTube channel, literally just Cerebi on YouTube. Look it up if you want to. You guys can check it out. It's literally a gameplay section, and we're going to go through this gameplay and see what's actually here. But they also posted a breakdown of everything that's in here over on their website, so I want to go through that and see exactly what's being said and what's being mentioned, because there are a few things that are going to be a bit different in this DLC, but we also have leaks and stuff to talk about. But let's start with this first. So of course, we have this little like gameplay preview thing here from Cerebi, where like I said, you guys can watch it on your own if you want to, but mostly it just shows off some gameplay and talks about some aspects. It talks about the terrarium, which is going to be the new location we're going to be exploring. One of the big things though is that there is no Nurse Joy anymore. Instead, if you guys want to actually like heal yourself, you got to go to these healing pods, which are kind of like strewn about. They're kind of like a little bit everywhere, but you got to go to these things if you want to go heal yourself up specifically. So this is like the way to heal, and you guys can see on the left side over there, like all the way in the left, I'm pointing the wrong way, that way, you guys can actually also see that there is where you buy your items. It's literally a vending machine for Pokeballs, which I guess fits the theme of, you know, how things work in Japan, because everything there is a vending machine. But this is one of the small details. So yes, this was shared by Centro, who said, the Blueberry Academy is for tough kids. There's no Nurse Joy. You're supposed to use the Pokemon Center machines yourself. But then we have, of course, the massive post and, of course, the gameplay section. We're going to go through the gameplay first. We can see some Pokemon like Seviper right there, Sawsbuck in the left corner up there as well. Mostly just Pokemon returning, in this case is what we're seeing. As we go through the gameplay, we'll see some of the, I guess like, again, just mostly gameplay within the biomes. There are 4 different biomes, they're all split up, and according to what Cerebi says here is that once once they play this like preview, you're brought into the school by Lacey and Cyrano, which is like the principal. And the way you can actually deal with this whole like place is that you can take on the BB League, right? The new Elite Four thingy. You can take it on in any order, and he said that they're almost the level of difficulty like something like a battle tower from older Pokemon games. So apparently they're going to be pretty difficult. Of course, if you have a level 100 team, you can probably just go in and you know, just deal with them right away and just get rid of like any problems in your way. But apparently it is going to be relatively a little bit harder to beat these guys. Of course, if you have a team of level 100, you're going to struggle a bit more. And there are double battles, so if you're not a fan of double battles like me, you're probably going to hate this DLC, because there's going to be a lot of those. And this is another thing that was actually said by Riddler Khu, who is a legitimate leaker. He said, do you love double battle? Sudachi 2, which is the code name for this specific game, well, it's going to have loads of it. And he actually tweeted earlier saying, so reports began to tell this info, which is what he's referring to here, because a bunch of content creators have gotten their hands on the actual, you know, on this stuff, and they've been able to talk about it. You know what I mean? They've been able to speak about it. But either way, let's move on to the next thing. So, let's talk about what's in this gameplay. Mostly, we see here just him running around, showing off, like, the different, like, splits in the biome. There's these, like, weird Tetris-looking things. And then he also shows off what seems to be almost like a battle here. You can see, like, it seems like Terrapagos, or the baby version of it, is found inside of some sort of battle here while you're in the Blueberry Academy. So, yeah, it's a little bit weird, a little bit sus. He's also here standing on top of this, like, mountain peak on the, I guess, ice biome, looking down upon the other locations. You're going to be able to go pretty far up. Apparently, also, Cyrano, the actual principal, said that he doesn't even know himself how the actual dome was created, unless I'm mistaken, but I think that's what he said in the talks here. There's, of course, going to be loads of Pokemon returning. I hope they fixed the camera. There's an issue they did with the camera here where you can't remove the outlines and the stuff on the sides, which is really poo-poo, but hopefully they fixed that. Either way, again, mostly just locations we've seen. We've got some Alolan Exeggutor's, so there's going to be a lot of Alolan forms in this. I think Alolan Golem is another one. Here it is. Yes, so that boy is in there too. He's going to be returning, unless he already was, but I don't think he was. So yeah, he's going to be coming back as well. We got Deerlings, because of course we saw the Sawsbuck earlier. And yeah, there's just a load of returning Pokemon. Smirgle's there, and then here again is where you heal. So this is the new healing station. It seems like the speed at which it heals seems relatively similar to just the regular one, except you just don't have to talk with Nurse Joy as long, I guess. But overall, it seems like you're going to be spending a lot of time talking there. You can also interact with a lot of the other students, and here you can also see seemingly one of the teachers possibly interacting with you. That's one, all right. You have, without a doubt, got yourself an Alolan Exeggutor. So yes, I guess this guy's going to give you missions or side quests to do. They have to go around the actual, place doing to, I guess, complete the story. As you can see, Lacey shows up here and asks you if you already completed your, your mission, so to say. And here, I love the Savannah biome. So yeah, the Savannah will be, I guess, well, the one that's strewn about with like, Zeb strikes and stuff like that. But yeah, so we continue through the gameplay, just jumping over. Here there seems to be some sort of drawbridge. There's a lot of these almost Tetris-like designs all over the place. Like here on the left side, you can kind of see that you're going to be able to climb up there. And then at the end here, you have the Canyon Plaza. So here, they're basically in the Canyon Plaza where the team that supports Amaris of the Elite Four. So yes, they call them the Elite Four, the BB League challenges, basically. So you're going to be able to take them on. You'll need to hand over 50 BP if you want to take on the Elite Trial. So I'm guessing you're going to get the BP, in this case, the battle points from doing stuff around, and then you're going to be able to battle the Elite Trial with that, right? You're going to be able to do it with that. And are you ready and willing to pay? And then for the most part, it's just jump right in and enjoy yourself. You guys can see items can be bought here, Ultra Balls, stuff like that, in case you plan on catching a bunch of stuff. And Amaris is going to show up here for this specific trial. Now, the trials are different. You have this trial where you basically have to just fly around and just do a bunch of flying, like through hoops kind of missions. But you got to do this, and I guess the faster you do it, the better you do it and whatnot, the higher score you'll get. And then that will basically, complete the flying time trial in this case. Either way, that was pretty much the gameplay. If we skim through it here, it's just mostly interacting with Amaris and showing off some of the locations around where you're going to find her. And then, of course, here's the battle location you're going to have with her right on the top here. She will, want to start the battle with you. And apparently this battle is where, well, things get a little bit, a little bit heated, a little bit interesting. So this is also a picture of Arcaludon. And we see, of course, I forget what his name is, the Drayden kid. The grandson. But yeah, so he's using a Arcaludon. We also see down here, this is an actually interesting image because not a lot of people mention this, but if you think about it, this location right here in the background behind this, form of Raikou, this location looks more to me like something in Area 0 than it does anything specifically in, I could be mistaken, could be some of the areas within the Blueberry Academy itself. But I feel like that could be done in Area 0, though there are no crystals to hint at it, so maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, again, seems like you're going to be able to do a bunch of side quests, a bunch of thingies, along the way to keep you busy. And yeah, shout out to Joe Merrick for sharing this with us. And here is the massive post he made. So, the terrarium. We started off entering the terrarium in Blueberry Academy with Lacey and Serrano, where she explains that the terrarium is with projections of the passage of time and sky through the dome. How they have the mysterious globe at the top, which allows for terrestrialization, but Serrano can't seem to remember what truly it is made of, which is a nice, tantalizing notion in how things may go. So it's a bit of a hint to the story. Lacey then explained that the terrarium has 4 different habitats: the polar, the savanna, the coastal, and the canyon. These are 4 quadrants of the area of the house, and house a variety of Pokemon. Different each area, also, as you would expect. In the coastal one, you'll find loads of water Pokemon. Ones like Alolan Exeggutor on the beach. Polar is filled with ice types like Alolan Sandshrew and Beartick. The Savannah had ones like Cantonian Tauros, Doduo, and the Canyon also had some stuff like Alolan Geodude, Tyrogue, and so forth. This provides a lot of variety in the map. So yes, the biomes are just going to serve as a way for you to get different sorts of Pokemon that match those specific biomes. That's right, despite the Blueberry Academy being in the Unova region, there's loads of regional forms dotted throughout the terrarium. This made a nice feeling of difference compared to the rest of the game, as it was nice to see these Pokemon out in the wild. It helps give the feeling that the terrarium is in essence akin to the Safari Zone, that's fair, where many wild Pokemon have been brought in from other regions. I did see both a Cantonian and a Alolan Exeggutor, though, which did get me wondering how an Exeggcute would evolve if it evolved in the terrarium. I found an Execute, but was unable to find a Leaf Stone in that time, so it will be a question for the launch. There are, of course, loads of stunning returning Pokemon throughout the terrarium, though I don't actually think I saw a single Paldean Pokemon among them in the wild, but we saw many, including Oricorio, Pau Style. We got the one Oricorio not found in the wild in Scarlet and Violet yet, and the different Deerling, Sawsbuck in each biome was also a nice touch. Makes sense. Also, again, the Unova references. We were also told that the first partner Pokemon would indeed be found throughout the terrarium, but within gameplay. within my gameplay, I was unable to see any of them, so they're either rare or there's something else to get them. The map is all appear to be much larger than Kitakami, but not as big as Paldea, so there's a lot to explore. But of course, it's being a artificial environment. It's not like Paldea where you have towns, villages to explore. Instead, you'll find loads of rest spots with various students throughout the area, as well as big central ones in the middle of the area where you typically interact with the story, heal your Pokemon, or start a union circle, or even access the TM creating machine. However, this doesn't mean there isn't lots to explore in the zone. I kept getting lost and distracted just looking around for a lot of various Pokemon. So yeah, I'm going to be able to do a lot of stuff. Much of what you expect from Scarlet and Violet is the same within the terrarium. You have the Terra Battle crystals throughout the area, as well as mass outbreaks happening. Large amounts of Pokemon and items everywhere. The items are the usual stuff that, in addition to the standard berries, evolution items, EXP candy, and even sweets to evolve Milcery. You'll find Terra Shards. What surprised me about the number of Terra Shards obtained from picking up when I picked up a Rock Terra Shard, it was actually 16 Rock Terra Shards, which should be very useful in further reducing the grind that's necessary to change a Pokemon's Terra type back in Paldea, which is a great for competitive play. The toughest battle. This isn't all there is in the terrarium. Throughout the area, you will find the students of the Blueberry Academy, and they will want to battle you. The Blueberry Academy itself has a curriculum focused primarily around Pokemon battles, and so the students here are definitely willing to battle you, as a DLC can only be accessed if you have completed the Way Home and the Teal Mask. These trainers are going to be high leveled. You'll find trainers from level 60 throughout to the top of it. Every single trainer battle I found in the terrarium is a double battle, which is a marked change from every main series game to date, where they're primarily single battles with the occasional double battle. I'm gonna be real, I hate double battles, so I'm not happy with that. To top it off, like the Kitakami Ogre clan of the Teal Mask, you'll find some really tough trainers dotted around the terrarium. While I was exploring off the beaten path, I found one with a team that is level 70s that actually proved a challenge. They were using some classic double battle strategies and had hold items on their Pokemon such as Toxic Orb, Toxic Boost, Zangoose, double intimidate strategies, Grassy Seed, and whatnot. This is where the challenge will start to come in, as with double battle. Some of these are more complex strategies behind Pokemon will come out, and these trainers will use those against you. Even if your teams are level 80 and above, you may find them trickier than you would think for a standard playthrough of a Pokemon game. Continuing on, this compounded with the second part of the preview, we got to play where we got to face off against one of the Blueberry Academy Elite Four, Amaris. This started off with a trial, much like how the gyms had trials to complete Paldea. This was the one shown in the trailer, where you could properly fly on Koraidon Rhydon. I had to get to the end of the course while flying through all the rings. This lulled me into a false sense of security when it wasn't that tricky, but the battle itself was a different matter. We were told going in with different save was made for this team of level 80 Pokemon we had in the first part of preview just couldn't handle facing off against the Amaris, so instead we had a new team of level 88 Pokemon with competitive movesets and hold items. Yet despite that, we were told to expect to lose, and going in I could see why. So straight off the bat, Amaris went in with some classic and brutal double battle strategies, so basically confirming that these battles are going to be harder. Obviously, if you have a team of level 100 Pokemon, you'll get the advantage and it'll be less difficult, but such level increases means a lot less here in comparison with the Teal Mask. The Blueberry Elite Four can seemingly be done in any order, so it's likely they'll be able to be such there'll be such a challenge, but it makes me very curious as to how later content Indigo Disc will go in terms of difficulty. Good question. New moves for all. They did get a look at some of the new technical machines that are being introduced in the Indigo Disc. There's a mixture of returning moves such as Expanding Force, Triple Axe, Skitter Smack, Meteor Beam, Breaking Swipe, Scorching Sands, Curse, Coaching, Electro Web, and more. As well as some new moves, including the world's reveal of Upper Hand and Psychic Noise. So those are new ones. As well as some new moves like Supercharged Cell and Hard Press, which is a steel move which does more damage the higher the target's hit points. These competitive moves play on the battle focus that the Blueberry Academy has. So yeah, again, a lot of focus on battles in this case. Inspiration. So as far as we know from Teal Mask, the Blueberry Academy is in the Unova region, and there's inspiration from it everywhere. The music has some elements from the region throughout, such as the wild Pokemon theme basically being a remix of that. Interesting. If you put a big smile on my face when I heard it for the first time. There are other inspirations from Unova, Alola, and other Pokemon games throughout the area, which is unfortunately can't discuss just yet, which is just fun to have. Performance. Of course, I would be remiss not to address one of the big elements to work against Scarlet and Violet, the performance. Obviously, this was a pre-launch build, so subject to tame, but the performance did seem okay. It was definitely not worse than Scarlet and Violet has been up to this point, and may have felt even smoother than before. But it was not without flaws or slowdowns, but it had no slowdowns, which felt like Castleroy Lake in version 1.1, just a few drops here and there. So that's good to know as well. Conclusion, obviously, I could see a small snapshot of Indigo Disc in this preview. Couldn't dive deeper into it. But yeah, he just kind of summarizes his thoughts and feelings. Overall, it seems like this DLC is going to be very heavily focused on battling. That's totally fine. I'm more excited to see what's going to be happening in Area 0, what the deal is with Terrapagos, what the deal is with Dokutaro, which I don't think we're going to see Dokutaro until a little bit later. I don't think we're going to see that for a while. I don't think we're going to be interacting with Dokutaro or really anything to do with that for a little bit of while. So it's going to take some time before we know exactly all about that. But nonetheless, though, it's still interesting information nonetheless. And I just wanted to bring it up because I thought it was worthwhile to talk about and just mention, to be honest with you all. But either way, that was the first thing. Now let's talk about some of the stuff that's been mentioned by Riddler Khu. First thing, he posted these two images and said, oops, sus. And it's a picture of Samurott and then a picture of a Pikachu, and they're both terrestrialized. And it was a bit weird because I think both of them are terrestrialized to water type here. I could be wrong. And then people were getting a little bit like confused as to what he's trying to say here. He also posted this image saying, what 7-star legendary raids are you looking forward to? Now, if you guys do not know who Khu is, he's a legitimate leaker. He's got legitimate leaks, legitimate proof of stuff. Basically, they know everything, okay? They pretty much know everything. So yeah, it's a little bit weird, but nonetheless, this individual knows everything, and he shared these two tweets as well as a few other ones. But here's basically what the thoughts are on these. So first of all, with this one, it's a little bit weird, but we're going to look at some of the stuff that was said in quote tweets. Basically, Cardinal here said that, could this potentially be hinting at a special terrestrial form of Pikachu based on surfing Pikachu? That actually seems to make sense. We also had a post from somebody else. I think in this case, it was this post right here. And this was also from Blaines, who said, 7-star Hisuian Samurott ends before DLC 2 Indigo Disc comes out, but leaves 1 weekend for a raid event before release. Now, if I were on the Pokemon marketing team and wanted to drive DLC sales up in the week before, I would do a raid event for DLC 2 Paradox Pokemon. And Soul here says, this might be the best case scenario. I'd love my Iron Crown early, but I don't think it's likely since they're technically meant to be DLC 2 Pokemon, which isn't releasing until December 13th, so my hopes aren't high. Actually, base case scenario is if they aren't raid events. That is true, and they're just separate thingies to catch in the game itself. And Cam here's, I prefer if they would just treat it as post-game legendaries like the good old days. I agree, 100%. Yeah, I would just prefer that. I don't want it to be in raids. Nonetheless, though, is it possible that this is him referring to some sort of, like, what is he trying to say here? Is this him referring to Pikachu getting a new form or a Terra form specifically? Again, I don't really know exactly what he's trying to say, but let's move on to the next one. What 7-star raids are you looking forward to? And Soul had to say, does this mean returning legendaries will only be obtainable in Terra raids? Well, here's what we are talking about. So is it possible that this tweet is him referring to the Terra raids just being this accessible, or sorry, the legendaries being only accessible this way? And what do I mean by legendaries? Well, every new iteration of a Pokemon game, like every third version or DLC, tend to reintroduce legendaries from the past. For example, in the Crown Tundra, we had the return of the, legendaries, but they were specifically found in, what would you call it? Like the Dynamax Adventures. That's where you would find them. So the question is this exactly how they're going to be returning again? Is this what's going on here? That's basically the question, right? That's more or less what we're wondering about. And then we move on and see what he says here, which is, does this mean returning legendaries will only be obtainable in Terra raids? It'd make sense since the legendaries aren't in the Indigo Disc. But then what about the side quest riddles? Maybe both methods are possible. Maybe there's a certain specific number of each method. Maybe some are more special than others. Fun to speculate on, but to answer Khu's question, I'm still praying for Ultra Necrozma. Lugia and Scarlet will be awesome too, and I need a way to hunt a shiny Zekrom, because it's one of the few I'm missing. But yeah, a lot of people are wondering, naturally a both option could be some kind of Dynamax adventure, raid minigame, but would Game Freak really do something so similar a second time in a row? You never actually know. To be fair, it's not really 100% certain. Then Sancho here actually says something interesting, which is fun fact about the Tau Trio. If you have a shiny Reshiram or shiny Zekrom in home, you get shiny white Black Kyurem unlocked in the Dex, even if you don't have shiny Kyurem. So for example, if it's shiny Zekrom, shiny Black Kyurem. Interesting kind of little point to bring up. Moving on though. We've already talked about this. Well, let's finish it off with this. So this was a post that turned out to be fake, but I still wanted to cover it real quick because some of the stuff it says is pretty interesting. So this was posted before some of this information was revealed, but basically this person was saying that like the release date for the DLC would be December 14th and 13th for some countries. Terrapagos would be normal rock, which kind of matches with some of the stuff that's been given by the actual leaker, but this could just be a wild guess. And then saying that Dragon Rock would be its Terra state. Terrapago's Ultima state and Ultima type would be the new typing. We've talked about it possibly being a star type, stellar type, one of those things. We don't exactly know which one of those it's going to be, but it's going to have some sort of, the like 19th type is going to have some kind of weird naming scheme. He also goes on and says that certain Pokemon like are going to be able to actually terrestrialize into Ultima Terra, which I don't know if that's actually relevant or if that's going to be even close to the truth. This is just some stuff that this person said. They also said new Pokemon will be Dokutaro, Ghost Poison, which is weird because everybody said that why would he know the name of the other ones, like Hydraplin, that would be the evolution of Diplin into a Grass Dragon type. Iron Hooves would be, I guess, and Royal Beast. So Iron Hooves would be Terrakion's Paradox form, and Royal Beast would be Entei's, Paradox form. And then mythical Pokemon not in the DLC, and then it's Ice Poison Serpent, which is random. But then also, again, he called Dokutaro, which is weird because the data miners, the people who actually went into the files and dug information out, were very confused because it didn't really match. Dokutaro is just a code name. It doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be the actual name of it. So this is what people did. Like Central went out and said, confirmed fake, basically saying that the screenshot was altered and the 4chan post is not real. So if you actually find the original post, which I'm surprised nobody did that. I didn't look into this because I'm only covering this now. It's a bit late now before this came out. It's been a while now, but you can just look up the number that was posted here. And for the most part, you should be able to find the original post and figure it out, unless it is a fake number that they changed on the number right there too. So again, it's not really certain, but overall though, what we do have is the DLC doesn't have a trailer, but it does have previews. And there are a few people that posted it, so you guys can look at those videos if you want to. And again, you can watch, Joe Merrick here, Cereby's video, going through everything, in case you missed anything, if you want to see any gameplay stuff. For the most part, this is stuff we've kind of seen in DLC with some aspects we haven't seen, like some characters and stuff like that, and some, more hidden areas that haven't been properly explored within the trailers. But nonetheless, though, I wanted to share it with you guys. Thank you for watching. See you next time.